Hello, Dr. Wagner here. It's been a minute since I reached out and said hello to you in this way. So I thought that I would, since I'm dressed so fancy and my hair's done so beautifully today, that it'd be the best time ever to send you a video. And yes, I did just attend our live discussion looking like this and taught my class earlier today looking like this. So COVID. Just a couple of comments and communications. So first, the discussion. So we did have our prevention discussion a little bit earlier today. So those um, discussion questions should post shortly. I think there's a lot of confusion about the discussion, so I just want to clean some of it up. First, everybody does need to be sure that they are signed up for at least one active participation in a live discussion, and we are running out of choices. Today was number 4, so we only have 2 discussions left. So there's that. And then I have I guess, difficult way for students to understand the grading of the discussion. So you'll notice I have one column that has the discussion held live. And that is where folks who attended either as a live active participant or a passive participant, meaning you attended the discussion but didn't talk, you get the 6 points in that column. Then there are the discussion questions for anybody that can't be at the discussion for whatever reason, where you can view the recording of the discussion and answer the questions. You can earn 6 points that way. But to keep everybody's grades even in my gradebook clean, there's only one column for which the discussions show up in the final grade section. And that is the one that'll just be labeled like discussion. So there, I'm trying to look here. So discussion 3 was practicing counseling skills. So there's a practicing counseling skills held live space, and then discussion questions for that. And then the third thing is discussion number 3, practicing counseling skills. And the confusion is that you can only earn 6 points. So you either earn the 6 points for being in the live discussion or 6 points for practicing, answering the discussion questions. So then discussion 3 shows up as being a 6 out of 12, even if you've gotten full credit, because you can only earn the credit in one of those places. So I get that it's frustrating for students, and some of you are like, I got a 50%. You didn't get a 50%, you got 6 points. So this course is not graded by percentages, though Learn keeps trying to tabulate everything for you in a percentage. That's totally irrelevant. We're trying to hit the mark of points that's available on the syllabus, and so that's the only thing that you want to look at. Okay, then the exam. So I just finished grading your exams. Mostly they were good. There were a couple of spots that were a little problematic, and so I wanted to talk to you about that now. There is not an opportunity to redo the exam, but there will be an opportunity to make up for some of the issues that you had on the exam by fixing it in a different kind of way, which I'm not going to explain on the video, but I will create and then give to you. So the first question that a lot of people struggled with was the ethics question, the one about the woman that comes to you and has this a range of issues. And then I asked you to utilize the A through E ethical model to figure out what how you're going to handle it. The biggest mistake and the thing that I typed the most on your responses is that a lot of you made it about the client and not about you. And that question was actually about you. The ethical decision-making model is to help you decide how to make an ethical decision. And so I purposefully presented you with a client that most of you would find offensive and have some difficulty handling the situation of, to encourage you further to separate yourself and your judgments of her out and think about your own self. So you're assessing your ethical dilemma, not necessarily her situation. Though assessing her situation presents you with your ethical dilemmas. Like many of you are school health people or community health people who recognize that as mandated reporters, as you'll be as teachers in the future, that a person using a drug like heroin while pregnant is actually considered child abuse and would require us to report. which is something that you would notice not only in the assessment, but also down in D, your duty. Like, what is my duty in this situation? You know, our duty is usually primarily to help the client, but we have an additional duty in that one. And that wasn't meant to catch those of you who don't know your mandated reporters, but I want you to just re-examine your answer in terms of how you should have been thinking about yourself and not the client. And then ironically, the second most problematic question is when we get down to the bottom and the question was about demonstrating that we're listening to our client. I think it was maybe just reading too quickly or trying to get the exam. The two ways with nonverbals were ways in which we can identify from our clients' nonverbals that they know we're listening. And a lot of you just talked about two ways you can demonstrate that you're listening and then two nonverbal ways, which is a little redundant. And again, the question was designed for you to be perceptive of the client and empathetic and be able to read them and tell if they're in it with you or not. So I think those are the only two questions I need to comment on as a whole. I think most of the other ones were pretty good. So as I said, with some of those questions, for some folks, those were harsh situations where they lost a lot of points. And so I want to make sure that I provide you an opportunity to demonstrate that you've accessed that information. Because for me, the grade isn't the most important thing. It's that you've accessed the information. I understand for students, oftentimes the grade is important. So I also want to provide you an opportunity to repair your grade if it was damaged by the exam. So I'll get that out within the next day or so, the protocol and the procedure and process. And then keep in mind yet again that everything shows up in the grade book, right? So there are plenty of you that have no need to do any part of your exam. You hit the mark or even got above the 50 points that were total possible. And so, you know, again, you don't have to do the makeup part. Obviously, if you didn't need to do it, then there's no need to do it. So, okay, and it'll be earning back a percentage of the grade, the points that you lost on the initial exam. It can't be a full refund because that's not fair to the folks that earned the points fully the first time. All right, I think that's it. Make sure you've signed up for a discussion. I'm about to start. You all turned in video 3 evaluations. I always wait for you to evaluate before I watch them all because then I put my comments. Your evaluations have been exceptional. I'm really proud of all the skills that you're picking up as well as your ability to perceive good and bad skills in fellow classmates. So that's been awesome. All right, it's Monday. I hope you're having a good start to a week. I think this is going to be a rough one. It started with snow. Tomorrow we have a really big election. And then, of course, we're also still in that mid-mester, like, slump, or at least I am. I'll speak for myself. All right. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.